and welcome to the 716 Fine Art Podcast. I'm Dawn Galt, and I'm here today with Michael Anthony Lynch, one of our artists, at the closing reception for his show, Titles. Hi, Michael.
How are you all today? Thank you.
First of all, tell us a little bit about your show.
This is my very first solo show. I've just graduated from school, so it's an exciting time, but also a very scary time. But this is the first step out, into the real world. The whole show is kind of about the titles that people play and how people fit in such categories of life, culture, and just the identity that we have to play, and my personal issue with trying to figure out where I fit into the grander scheme.
All right, so what are you trying to communicate through your work?
Again, it's more... It's a bigger picture of, I guess, my struggle, and how my struggle also fits into a broader struggle of, American humanity, living in Wisconsin, being a student, everything, as well as just, almost artistic exercises for me, just trying to find something that really strikes me as what I want to do, for my art. And I change a lot, and every other day I have something different kind of happening, so I think my show shows that a little bit.
Okay, great. Can we take a look at some of your pieces?
Here's a self-portrait of myself, which is, I guess, how self-portraits ought to be. I've gotten a lot of really good feedback from this, which is really awesome, and I feel kind of confused. And not that I'm saying it, I feel that it's poor. It's just I never intended, I didn't think people would respond to it the way they did. I'm colorblind, so it's something that I, personally have no troubles with, but my color theory is very different than most people. So this is kind of like an exercise of me working through how I want to play with colors, and I've gotten from a lot of people that they feel that it's very, there's a lot more depth to it than some of my other work, and it was kind of, again, it was an exercise like a lot of my work, where it starts off as something supposed to be very simple, and just, let's say I'm going to spend, about an hour working on something, and it turns into I'm working 8-10 hours, and I'm really liking it, so that's kind of where this went to.
So tell us a little bit about this piece.
All right, this is called Masks, Culture, and I did a small little mini series within this show. I was working through a series of masks, and why do people wear them? How does it alter identities? And in this one, I think this is a fairly good example of how the mask is actually the person's identity, and they're wearing it for cultural reasons to fit within some sort of societal norms that they place themselves into, which is a world apart from our normal daily life, but it's very real for them. I was also very careful to make sure that the eyes themselves and any of the physical portions of the person themselves was as black and white as possible. Try to create less depth with that, have everything else have the color, but in a funny way, it kind of put more emphasis on the person when I was trying to pour emphasis onto the mask and the identity itself. The process that I did this also is a woodblock, and because of the color issues that I have, instead of using colored inks, I decided to go with colored paper and do cutouts. So I don't know, how well the camera can pick this up, but there really is layers, and it's kind of fun for me because I have a lot of graphic design backgrounds as well, and this is, really, very Photoshop way of approaching it. I have my layers, and I can cut it apart, and I can determine how I want things. And this, is a direction that I like working with things, because it allows a more hands-on editing things as I'm working on something. I don't like something about it, okay, cut it out. So I really enjoy kind of where this piece kind of brought me in connection with other pieces.
Great. So tell us a little bit about these.
All right. Well, I have two here. Let's talk about the top one first. This one is done a reductive woodcut, or in this case, a reductive lino cut. And essentially what that means is I would take my plate, cut up a little bit, roll up the ink on it, lay it out on the paper, and then go, okay, I like that. I go cut up the plate some more, add different colored ink, and put it right on top of it. So eventually, at the very end, I have no plate left, and I have this remaining. So this, again, was me being told at one point that people don't do very well with reductive woodcuts because people don't think that far ahead. So I'm like, okay, then I'll try it. And I really, like the direction it went. And it started off actually as a bunch of images from a sketchbook that I did where I was, doing animatic research, and I just kind of layered them on top of each other, and it became this kind of abstracted cityscape roadway. And then I did, this is the same images here, flipped upside down, and just kind of, it gives, I guess, a nice like spiral composition, very fluid movement. And the colors are really just daring for me because it's like, oh, okay, this color is good, and I'm going to add this to that, and I'll add this to that. So hopefully it worked better. And I've gotten decent reception from this one, so I really enjoy the ability for this one to, communicate with other people. And then this one here is probably, it is my favorite piece that I included in the show, and it might solely be because it's all together and it's framed and it looks really nice together. These are also reductive lino cuts, and these are the only 5 in existence that I ever did, and the plate is actually some garbage heap somewhere. And it's it was, again, kind of an experiment, but this one deals with slightly like more like ambiguous themes about like culture and society again, where like how we live in a city and how there's always something that's a little warped, twisted, upside down. But this is, just me keep pushing, like trying something new again and again and again, and hoping that every time it'll pay off somewhere. And I think this illustrates that it eventually something does, like I can pull meaning out of something, and I can it's all experience that I'm, accumulating.
Well, thank you for sharing your time and your talents with us, Michael.